Welcome back to the channel. So last time we finished up these two columns, the one for the displacer and the one for the piston. Got my screws shorted, got everything mounted back on there. Got the temporary crankshaft in here. So the next thing we need to do is start connecting all these pieces. So the first piece we're going to make is the crank disc. So this is a pretty simple lathe turning operation. It'll get turned down here, gets a radius right here, some chamfers on it, gets drilled and reamed in the middle. Then it does get a slot cut into it here. So that set screw, that'll actually clamp it onto the other piece that goes through the middle of it. And then there's a 080 screw that gets tapped 5/16 off of the center here. So that'll make the crank throw. We're also going to make the displacer disc crank, which is a similar operation. It'll get turned down and then it also gets an offset, gets a hole drilled and reamed in it. So I got some scrap metal here that we'll start with, and we'll get this set up in the lathe and start turning it. Okay, that finishes up all the lathe work. So we turn this piece down to the OD size here, and then drilled and reamed a hole through the middle, and then turned this section down here, and then turn down this small section here, and then I used the form tool and put a radius on that. So now we need to drill a hole and tap that, and I'll show you in a second how I laid that out. And then we'll take a slitting saw. This needs a 20 thousandths cut in it all the way through this. So I'm going to try to set up the slitting saw and do that. I've got my mark on there. We'll actually set up the slitting saw and touch it off on this and move down, but I've got the mark there just to show where that's going to be. And then this piece was done similar. Put it in there, turned it down to this 475 size here first, and then had it in the 4-jaw chuck, and then I know how far to offset it to machine this. And then the same thing here. I'll show you how I laid this out, but we're going to drill and tap a hole here, and then these sides here get machined off. And then this gets a little bit of an angle on the sides and a radius here, but we'll probably just blend that in with some files. And then interesting, the first time that I offset this, I offset it the wrong distance and ended up with an interesting shape. Kind of looks like a football. Didn't really mean to do that, but I offset it too far, and that's what it cut. So we'll go over to the surface plate, and I'll show you how I set this up to mark these lines on here. Okay, so now we're over here at the surface plate, and so this piece has this piece in the back here is cut offset to this circle here. But we need to find the highest point of this lobe here so that we can get this thing perfectly horizontal here, so we can make a mark on it so we know where to put our screw hole. So what I've done is I've got it set up in a V block, and then I've got this clamp here and this block here just to help hold it. And then I've got the test indicator here that I can move up, just barely touch it. And then I can rotate this piece around. So we're already past the point there, it's dropping off, and I'll back it up. So we'll rotate it around till right there, till we find the high spot. And then when we find the high spot, then I'm going to clamp it down. And then take it off this. We don't need this anymore. So you can see what that looks like. So we've got it clamped in there, and then we've got the high spot on this end right here. Now, we know we'll use our height gauge here, and then we'll touch off on the top of it. And then I was able to take a reading there, and then I know what the diameter of this circle is, so I'll move this down to half of the diameter, and then I made a scribe line. So that puts this scribe line right here perfectly at the highest peak point here of the lobe, and that's where we want to put our offset. That's where we want to drill and tap our hole. And then to mark these on the sides from that center point, I know how wide this piece is supposed to be, so I can move up half of that, and then I can move down half of that and make marks. If you've got a height gauge like I've got here, just a tip for you. So this thing will only go down to 1 inch. It won't, with the scriber on there, it won't actually go all the way down to 1 inch. So one of these marks that I need to make was 1 3/8 inches. So something that I learned a while back was if you have one of these height gauges, I had trouble, like say, making marks that are shorter than 1 inch. And once you see this, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. You can put it on a 1, 2, 3 block, which moves it up just 1 inch. So instead of 1 3/8 inches, just move your height gauge up here to 2 3/8, because you know that this is 1 inch, and then you can make your mark here where you need it to be. So anything shorter than 1 inch, like even half an inch, I can still do with this height gauge just by putting it onto a 1 inch block. So we got our marks here. We know where the center line is. Then we know where to machine these sides off, and then I know how far from this hole, from the edge of this hole, I just made a mark there, and then where those two marks intersect is where we'll drill and tap that hole. And then kind of a similar process, but on this crank piece here for the piston, I use the combination square with the center finder and put it in there. And then doesn't really matter where this one is, I just made me a mark so that I know that it's in the center. And then again, I know how far from this hole that the edge is here, and you can use caliper or dividers or whatever you've got to make you a mark there. So where those two cross is where we're going to drill and tap that hole. And then this one's not as critical, so I did the same thing and just eyeballed it. It's 90 degrees away from where this mark is on the back side. So we set this in here and then just made a mark there. So we got a rough idea of where that needs to be for the slitting saw. So we'll get these set up in the mill, get this slitting saw, and then these holes drilled and tapped, and then that'll finish off the two crank pieces. Okay, so I got the crank disc finished up here. So I cut the 20,000 slot in there. I think that is the thinnest slitting saw that I've ever used, especially in steel. Just took it real slow. And then drilled and tapped for the 0.80 screw. And then I also made the crank pin, which is 80 thousandths. And then it says to determine this thickness here upon final assembly, so we might have to adjust that a little bit. So that finishes this up, and I have a 0.80 hex brass screw in there, which is a 3/32 head, which I realize I don't actually have a wrench that small. So if anybody knows where to find a 3/32 wrench, I need to come up with one. I'm just using a tiny adjustable wrench for now. Then this is the displacer arm, crank arm. Same deal. We drilled and tapped that for the 0.80 screw and made the crank pin in the same 0.80 hex bolt. And then just shaped the outside here kind of to suit. So that finishes that piece up. So we'll put it together here. I'll show you how everything goes together. So we've got our crank here. It's a nice tight fit in the bearings. So this will actually get Loctited to this shaft here, and we'll also get Loctited into the flywheel whenever we go to assemble this for the final time. We'll put this down in here, push the crank in there, and then this, with that slot there, it goes inside of our balance disc. And then we've got our set screw in there, and that set screw should compress this slot here and hold it tight onto the shaft. So put that in there like that. And that's how it all goes together. So this will spin around, and we'll work next on the connecting rod and the connecting rod end that'll connect this down to the piston. And then there's another rod end that'll go here on the end of the displacer arm crank that goes down to the displacer. So we'll work on that. But it all spins good. All looks like it fits good so far. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Come back next time and we'll start on these the displacer rod end and the piston connecting rod end.